Hello again, this is Chris Bell, and I'm trying to explain what I believe is the answer to the CP problem. And in all honesty, I don't know much about this particular issue. It took a lot of reading for me to purely understand what the CP problem is. But after working on the unifying theory of everything with string theory, quantum physics, and Einsteinian gravity, it's led me to question what dark matter actually is. And I've always had theories, but never been able to actually break the components down. So now that I've actually taken the time to try, I do think that I figured out a likely candidate of what it can actually be. And I'll include some of the work, some of the steps I take to get to this point in my thinking. And you scientists, engineers, and whoever else is interested can fact check it, hopefully be able to get back with me, and be able to go over some of these issues and see if I'm right, wrong, or need to do some tweaking in some little places here and there. So I did a little chart, tried to color code it for dark matter, strong nuclear force, and the weak nuclear force. And I believe, as a lot of people have already proven, that the weak nuclear force can decay. The weak nuclear force can act as a shield to contain positive energy and sustained within particulate matter. So the strong nuclear force, I believe, is withheld inside of the weak nuclear force that naturally decays. The decaying of the outside force, while the remaining of the inside one would make sense from purely a radioactive point of view, where solids are hard to penetrate at an atomic level. Splitting the nuclear atoms is very hard. So outside gets decayed over time first, and then the strong nuclear force, which is the main power source for matter and causes vibrations of all atoms contained within each other. When weak force loses its power, it slows and decays. The energy of the strong nuclear force is no longer contained and is transmitted, dissipated into space or other objects. Just like Einsteinian gravity equals mc squared, all energy, no matter how infinitesimally small, is transferable, transmittable, and does not disappear. So that heat source, that energy source, whatever the strong force may be, is transmitted to either other atoms around it, other particulate matters, and ejected into space if at an atomic level, in gas clouds, hydrogen clouds, or whatever contents might form in outer space. So I believe elements at the most basic level act as a particle accelerator would, with particles of the strong and weak force moving at faster than light speeds, most likely in opposite directions. Spooky action at a distance. Everyone knows what that is. And the reason we can't capture the one item in spooky action at a distance is because we're using light speed photography in order to capture the image. If it's faster than light speed, when we take a picture of the image, it would make sense that it would show up in two spots like a blur. When you move in front of a camera as the camera is taking a picture, the focus has a hard time dialing in to the one spot and it can appear blurry. If spooky action at a distance is real and these objects do not teleport through time and just move faster than light, it would appear with light speed that they are in two places at one time, unless you were to focus in and measure one particular spot. And in that case, it would always appear in that one particular spot, no matter which spot you measured. So I believe the nuclei would then most likely act as a power source, sustaining the movement until the decay of the weak force and release of energy sets it free. So moving on, how does that transmit into usable technology, usable energy, and anti-gravity, force fields, shields, and all that good stuff? So what I believe, and this is purely hypothetical, because I really don't fucking know. It's going to be hard to experiment on this shit, bros and hoes. Yeah, bros and hoes, whatever. I think I can cuss on YouTube. So what I believe is you must somehow remove the natural force field containing the dark particle. Now, the weak force naturally breaks down and decays, but there may be an artificial way to do it at a micro level. Without the weak force, the positive energy would probably be set free. I imagine that would be like a shield protecting it, and without them working together, equilibrium, when you have centrifugal force, that one force moving in one direction, centrifugal force, when that one force is moving in one direction, it can cause a top-like effect. When you spin a top at the table, it might spin alone for a while, but eventually that top's going to start to wave and start to function in an uneven manner. So you need the positive and the negative forces moving in opposite directions in order to maintain that balance. And if you don't, it'll eventually break apart. The positive energy, which does not decay, does not reduce over time, will be sent out and transferred to some other energy force, whether it be another particle, heat in space, or anything described previously. So, in my opinion, it does seem as if the dark matter, whatever that may be, axions, whatever, may be permanent. They may not go anywhere. I can't do all the theorizing into the many things that it could happen with dark holes transferring back into the fabric of space and replenishing things. I have a lot of theories, but on this one, that one seems the most logical to be true. So how would you sustain dark matter while releasing its fields? So, theorizing on this, I believe if we could artificially create some type of force field, possibly using plasma, hot power source, and maybe liquid nitrogen or other element cooled near absolute zero, a negative energy source, it would be possible to contain the particular elements while forcing the decay of the natural shield. And all you need to do is cut through one of the shields. If you could do both, that would probably be a quicker, more efficient way, but one should allow the other to decay over time naturally. And I believe it may cause a series of reactions with other particular elements that would be like an atomic bomb reaction. When you split one atom and have other atoms of the same element present, normally that creates a chain-like function where all these elements go off at the same time. So I believe it would cause a series of reactions with other particular elements if we could, what's the word? Not synthesize, but if we could get all the same elements together and put them in some type of secure energy device where it had a natural shield that wouldn't allow it to escape from that device, some type of force field, not matter, because axions, dark matter, will not interact with any of the regular stuff and should, like neutrinos, just pass through regular matter and go on their way. So if we could create the force field that would contain them and then artificially separate the shields that protect the cores, I believe it would make a chain reaction increasing in size and magnitude dependent on the amount of particular elements available. The increase of dark matter density, could, in theory, create anti-gravity. And once you got anti-gravity, shit poppin'. Alright, that's pretty much it. So, paperwork, I'm not going to go over all this shit, but I'm just going to do little snapshots of it so people can go over it on their own if they want. I've got them in numerical order, 1 through 4 of where I actually started the research. Shit's all over the place, but lots of big names I don't understand. Had to break it down into a little more functional, little more understandable words so I could figure out the problem. That's one. That's two. There's 3. And the Eureka moment while watching the Lex Friedman podcast. The decay, unequal balance, the top effect. And